like peaches and nectarines. We're live right now. A lot of people are all down in the weight loss drugs, man. They're injecting them in them and everything else. I mean, there's a price to pay. There really is, you know, just robbing Peter to pay Paul and the whole bit. And people don't realize it, but I understand a lot of people, they can't take it anymore because they've never been educated. They've never been taught, you know, how they can like keep that weight under control, how they can, you know, manage that weight. And people are just downing the weight loss drugs, and then supplement companies are trying to come out with weight loss products and everything else because it's just everybody's freaking out. So we're talking about peaches and nectarines. We're talking about, you guessed it right there, life-changing foods. This is my manuscript right there. There you go. Expanded edition coming out soon. Get a pre-order in. Get one in if you can, okay? So that you have it, you can lock it down. So make sure you grab one. It's awesome to be here, you guys. Good to see you coming on right there. See some comments coming on. So I'm making the peach pie milkshake. That's right, peach pie milkshake. Now you can't really see this because, like I said, this isn't the book, but it's just my little manuscript here. Peach pie milkshake. You can kind of get a gist. There it is right there. That's the real way to look at it right there, okay? Peach pie milkshake. You want to taste something insane, insanely incredible? You're gonna be like when you actually have this. And how healthy this is, it's not filled with all this overt fat. It's not going to have anything like that. And it's got all this bad sugar and bad fat in it, and bad sugar and bad fat in there. It's not going to have that. It's the peach pie milkshake, medical medium style, healthy style, healing style. And that's the difference. You know, the medical medium tools are for healing. Yes, they're for healing. They're for recovery, restore adrenals, endocrine systems. And that's what peaches and nectarines do, by the way. You can do frozen peaches and nectarines. Keep that in mind, okay? So I want you to know that you can do that. Frozen peaches and nectarines. And I got both right here. I got the frozen peaches right there. Take a look. And then guess what? It was like a miracle at this time of year. And I got peaches and white nectarines. I got like regular nectarines. I got two kinds of peaches. It was like perfect timing. It was unbelievable. So we're gonna dig into it, what peaches do and everything. So before I make this peach pie milkshake, okay, I'm gonna just talk a little bit about the power of white peaches and nectarines, why they heal. Okay, to begin with, and I got a peach in my hand right here, to begin with, the skin of the peaches. The skin, you know that grippy skin of the nectarine and the peaches? It's got a grippy skin. That grippy skin is designed to actually like a magnet to pull toxins into it. So it's the type of skin that can draw toxic properties out of the gut, out of the intestinal tract. So that skin moves through is what it does. So you eat your peach, it goes on down, gets inside the stomach there. And don't think that your stomach doesn't have toxic crap in there, because it does. And people don't realize that, but stomachs are overloaded with all kinds of like gut rot and everything else. Peach skins go down and they just start to stick. They're like tape starts to stick right to it. So as those skins go down and the glucose breaks down in the peach itself, the phytochemical compounds are doing its thing. The skins are left. Even if you chew those skins really good, the bits and pieces of the skin start heading down into the small intestinal tract. And when they do, they're like a sticky tape. And then all these toxic, pieces of debris, putrefied protein that sat there, rotted for years, all kinds of bacteria, yes, yeast, mold, unproductive fungus, all get stuck to the peach skin. You see what I mean? And then the peach skin rolls it on out. It rolls it on out. And eventually the peach skin gets filled to the brim. It gets filled to the brim. It's fully loaded. There's nothing else that can actually stick to the peach skin anymore because it's fully loaded. And then you eliminate it and then it's out. It takes all that bad bacteria out, leaves the friendly stuff though. It doesn't stick to that because this is the miracles of what God offers with food. These are the miracles. It's all about polarized. It's all about polarized frequencies and energy. There's all of that there. You have to understand. It's all about positive charges, negative charges. Bad bacteria is on a different charge than the good bacteria is on a different charge. You see how it works? Same thing with other pathogens. An unproductive fungus versus productive fungus. They run on different charges. Systematically, they run that way. It's all part of God's plan on how it works with healing, so keep that in mind. So the skin of the peach isn't there to pull all the good bacteria and pull all that out. The skin of the peach is there to cling, to magnetically suck in and cling all the gunk and junk. And one thing that people don't realize, it's in people's guts. And this is a big one right here, okay? It's mucus. So people don't realize how much mucus gets trapped in somebody's guts. And the mucus becomes a problem. The mucus builds up and it becomes a big deal. It gets in the way of, guess what? Absorption. Absorption. That's a key word right here. So when you're doing peaches and nectarines, fresh ones, even frozen, okay, even frozen has a lot to offer, but when you're doing those nectarines and those peaches, there's a mucus component that we got to talk about. It's all about absorption. So for nutritional deficiencies, like how many peaches have you eaten in a year? How many peaches did you eat last year? How many peaches and nectarines did you have 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Because getting them into your diet makes it so that you don't become nutritionally deficient. Isn't that incredible how peaches work? So mucus that builds up in our intestinal tract, in the duodenum, yep, small intestinal tract, in the colon, that's right, in the colon, top of the colon, all of it, descending, ascending, all that mucus that's all laying around and gets, produced and it gets built up. It stops you from absorbing. This is what happens when you catch flus and colds. Now, here's the whole thing, which there really aren't any colds. It's just all flus, but I like to say the word because people relate to the word cold, cold, cold. It's a cold, it's a cold. And it's not a cold, it's a flu. You can have a mild flu, you can have more of a serious flu, or your immune system's handling a mild flu really good. You clean it up, the whole bit, so forth. But flus is what's out there, and I talked about that. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a little round table talk over there a little later on the kitchen table about that. But keep in mind, okay, the mucus from a flu, which we're heading into flu season, or heavy flu season, right, North America and so forth, that flu creates mucus, and then we swallow the mucus. When people get a flu, I'm saying this, when people get sick, when they're coughing and the mucus is draining, they're getting nutrient deficient. They're getting nutrient deficient. That's how it works, okay? And a lot of people don't know this. Or actually, nobody knows this, really. Nobody knows this. So when the flu comes around, and we're heading there now, and you get all that mucus in your system, you end up swallowing the mucus. It drains all night long into your lungs. Then you cough it up, you swallow it. It drains into the stomach as well. And the more mucus that gets trapped all through here, the more nutrient deficient you become. So when people get sick with something going around, whatever that might be, whether it's COVID, right, whether it's flu or whatever it is, RSV, whatever, norovirus and so forth, what happens is they get nutrient deficient. They get deficient because absorption issues occur. They're not assimilating, they're not absorbing, they're not digesting properly because the mucus is all in the way. And then 6 months later, they go to their doctor, whoever that is, they go to their practitioner like, oh, you're deficient in this, you're deficient in that. What have you been doing lately? And it's all confusion because it's not really what you're doing lately. It's the fact that you had a flu, that you actually had a bug, and that bug made you deficient because that mucus sticks around for sometimes like 2 months. People cough and cough and cough, and they're sick for 6 weeks, for 4 weeks, for 3 weeks, and all that mucus creates that deficiency. So isn't this interesting, this information? Because, yeah, it's interesting big time. So I'm taking you into LCF right here. Make sure you actually get this book. It's the expanded version. Can you see it now? There it is, expanded version right there. It's one big book. It is no joke. It is one big, heavy book you're going to get, and it's packed, and we'll talk about what's in there later. Well, we're covering peaches in the peach section right here. We're making a peach pie milkshake, not a bad milkshake, not a dairy-filled milkshake, not a milkshake. We're doing like a healing milkshake. That's right, you gotta be good to your body, you gotta give your body what it needs, and this is gonna be a whole nother thing. So we're covering the mucus aspect of what happens to people. They get nutrient deficient. Absorption issues can happen for months after catching like flu, or what people think is a cold, what they think, right? And what's amazing about when you're dealing with peaches, and you gotta go and get them frozen peaches, and you make this peach pie milkshake, you're cleaning out mucus from a month ago, from 2 months ago if you got sick, or you're just somebody that's very mucusy, and that's another thing I want to talk about now. A lot of people got stagnant, sluggish livers, and because they got that stagnant, sluggish liver, okay, you guys see the liver right here? Because they have that, it's mucusy. They're filled with pus. They're filled with mucus and pus. And that mucus and pus, yeah, that stuff spews out of the gallbladder. That stuff is all in the intestinal tract. That stuff is in the bloodstream, the lymph. It's in the lymph. And when that mucus is in there, you can become more nutrient deficient, more and more nutrient deficient. You see how it works? The nutrition deficiencies are legit when you got these things going on. Stagnant, sluggish, liver, filled with pus and mucus, lymphatic system filled with pus and mucus, all of that too. And then you get the nutrient deficiencies, your nutrition, you get the absorption problems, assimilate, you can't assimilate the nutrients that you need and so forth. All of that happens, keep that in mind. And just one healing tool right here, working with peaches and learning how to work with nectarines, helps to restore that. But rapidly, that's how insane this is. Like rapidly, think about how cool that is. It's not just like, oh, I eat a peach, it's not gonna do anything. No, that's not it. When the peach season comes in, or you go and get the frozen peaches right here, you just bring them in, you have the peach pie milkshake, you do that, you bring that into your life, and boom, you're bringing back that nutrition. You're clearing out that mucus. So your body starts to restore quickly. Your body can be really forgiving, really insanely forgiving for what people do, for what people are up against and what happens to them. Man, your body can be really, really, really forgiving. It's even forgiving the people that are doing they're like jacking themselves up with all that different like weight loss drug stuff. They're pumping it into themselves, you know? And they're getting jacked up by it, and that's what's happening. And their adrenals are getting jacked up by it. That's happening too. And what happens with the weight loss drugs, all of them, what happens with the weight loss drugs is the adrenals go under attack. And so those adrenals go under attack. The adrenals are back here, behind here, and they're in the back over here. But what people don't realize is that part of how they're losing weight from the weight loss drugs is their adrenals. They're taking a hit, and they're like pumping out hormones, and those hormones that are being pumped out, they actually make it so you can lose weight. But it's this kind of thing where the weight loss drugs don't last forever. They don't work forever because the adrenals might bottom out eventually with someone. Somebody might do the weight loss drugs for a little while and then stop them, and then they do them again and nothing works anymore. And then they start getting really tired, they don't feel well, their adrenals start to go, and that's what happens. Their adrenals bottom out in the whole bit. Good to see you guys. I'm glad you're coming on here. We're talking about life-changing foods. We're talking about a peach pie milkshake. I'm excited about this. Check out the Life-Changing Foods Expanded Edition. Make sure you lock one down. I can't say it enough because the torture's coming for me. I'm going to be tortured. I can't wait. Looking for it. Looking forward to it. Here it goes. You ready? Okay, the book comes out. I can't get one. I can't get one. You're so terrible of a person, AW. You're the meanest person in the world because we can't even get one to help ourselves. I heard that every year with every single book release there has been, and I've always said the same thing over and over again. Please just pre-order it. I mean, if you pre-order it from Amazon, Amazon.com, they don't charge you until they ship it. So just know that the charge doesn't happen until they ship it, and just order it from Barnes, you know, get it from there, Barnes or Amazon, and you know, the whole bit. But just keep in mind, you might want to lock it down. You're not going to be disappointed with that book. You're going to be so blown away. We're just talking about peaches. We're just literally talking about peaches is all we're talking about. And it's incredible the information about peaches alone and what you're getting from here that's in the book. Like, it's insane what you get and what you learn. We're going to talk about symptoms, conditions of the peaches too, that you can like work on your healing process with and all of it. Laugh out loud. Just got to pre-order. That's right over there on YouTube. S on YouTube. All right, let's get into this a little bit more. Okay. Guess what? And I'm going to show you this when we cut into a peach, or something you need to know about the flesh closest to the peach pit. We're going to go into that as well, of how powerful that is all on its own. It's all about like purging with peaches. They help purge. And when you get closer to that pit, there's a purging action. So let's crack into that peach a little bit so we can see that a bit. So let's go here, okay? We're getting closer to that pit. I'm just doing a little bit of this. I don't know if you can see this really quick. I'm just gonna try to get us closer to that peach pit right there. It's kind of a weird position I'm in right now. I'm trying to cut around an anatomy dummy, and I'm working on it here. There we go. All right. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scale this peach down a little bit. Okay. All right. So what you got right there, I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay. There's a peach pit right there. Okay. Don't eat the peach pit. Don't eat it. You don't need to eat a peach pit. Do not eat it. I highly recommend you don't eat it, you know. So check out that peach pit right there. That peach pit, the flesh around that peach pit though. And I cut a lot of that away. So I'm going to show you right there. All right, there you go, okay? And I cut a lot of this away. Here it is right here. You see this? There you go. Giving you another little window into it. That astringent phytochemical compound filled flesh, the inner flesh of that peach close to that pit, freaking out now, is so astringent, it purges the liver, pushes the poison and the toxin out of the liver. That is the miracle that God has bestowed upon the peach and the nectarine right there. Just so you know, liver's inner core. That's where things get shitted up pretty bad, in the liver's inner core. Just keep that in mind. That's where things get pretty gnarly and awful, deep in that liver, right in there, okay? I don't have any liver problems, really. Have you done any pharmaceuticals at all at any level? Any kind, even childhood treatments, pharmaceuticals? Any fluoride treatments at the dentist office? Anything like that? Anything going on there? Any other exposures you may not know about? Could be in the liver. What about the food you've been eating? Any fried, greasy, toxic, processed, chemical-filled foods that have written about in medical meme books for years? Whatever it is, the liver gets toxic deep down inside. You pump your own gas? Do you pump your own gas? I don't know, do you? All right? Are you so good with pumping your own gas that you don't smell the gasoline ever? Are you so good that that solvent isn't getting right through your brain in an instant and into your liver, right through your sinuses, into your gut, in your mouth, on your tongue? When you're pumping your own gas, do you have it down so pat that you know which way the wind's blowing when you pump your own gas? And never mind that, when you're pumping your own gas, are you near somebody else where the wind's taking that gas fume right to you and you're breathing it all in? Let me tell you, the gasoline fume ends up in the liver, makes it stagnant and sluggish, makes it problematic. And yeah, that's right, darn right. And the pit, right around the pit, the flesh right there, that flesh closest to the pit purges. You guys, this is all LCF. This is all LCF right here, LCF. Just give me a reminder, okay? I'm not here for shits and giggles, man. I'm trying to show you something, a resource that can turn people's lives around. Pre-order it, get it on your list. You know, wait a year, wait 6 months, get it from the library. Take it out of the library. Do that. I'm okay with that. Just get it in your life. Get it in your life, but you can pre-order it right now. So it's locked down because we're coming up pretty soon. I mean, the release is pretty soon of this incredible book. I'm just letting you guys know. We're talking about peaches and nectarines. Are you guys blown away or what? Because I'm pretty blown away about these peaches and nectarines. I am blown away about it. So we're cutting into the peach a little bit. We're talking about what the peach has to offer the body. What you see right there is a human anatomy right in front of you, okay? Hopefully this is not too boring. I'm trying not to keep this boring. I want this interesting. It is an appetite suppressor. That's the big one right there. Forget the weight loss drugs. It is an appetite suppressor. That's what peaches do. Go pick up your, frozen peaches. Make the peach pie milkshake every single day. Make 2 of them. Make 3 of them. Your appetite will be suppressed greatly over time because there are phytochemical compounds inside peaches that are good for humans where it suppresses appetite. It makes peaches and nectarines self-limiting. This is incredible information coming right out of Life-Changing Foods. New edition, expanded phytochemical compounds. And check this out right here. Okay, I want to show you something about peaches, all right? Okay, so check this out. This is interesting right here, okay? What you see in front of you is my pet friend deer, okay? And what happens when a deer, first of all, deer, they love peaches and nectarines. They love peaches and nectarines. It's like the most important thing to a deer. Any kind of peaches and nectarines, forget it. It's favored food, okay? That's what they are. But deer like to eat unripe peaches and nectarines. That's their favorite time to eat them. They don't care, like the crunch on them along with the stem that's holding it. They'll eat the stem of the peach tree. Do you know anybody that has a nectarine tree? Do you guys know anybody that has a peach tree? Have you ever seen that? What happens is the deer, what they do is they eat the actual stem, not just the stem. They eat the twig. They eat the branch. They'll just chomp on the nectarines when they're young and the peaches when they're young, and they'll work right up the branch because that's what deer do. All right? But the the peach tree and the nectarine tree has a little bit of a weapon. It has that appetite suppressor, so the deer all of a sudden says, I had enough. I had enough. That's what the deer says. Like, that's why if you own or planted or have a peach tree, or a peach tree, orchard or something like that, that's why not all the twigs and all the branches will be eaten down to the bone and every single nectarine will be eaten, because unless there's a lot of deer. If you got a lot of deer, they'll all take turns, but there's an appetite suppressor built in to the peaches and the nectarines, especially when those peaches and nectarines are young. And that appetite suppressor phytochemical compound makes it so that deer say, I had my fill, I had my fill, I had my fill. And guess what with human beings? That's why it's better than weight loss drugs. There's an appetite suppressor phytochemical compound within those peaches and nectarines. Yes, that same one that's good for humans. And what it does is it says, I had enough, I had enough, I had enough. Big old bowl of peaches and nectarines. After that, you could actually have appetite suppressing action for days almost for a lot of different people. It could go that far for even days. I'm going to put my dear friend over here, okay? So, incredible information. So what does that do? What does that, this is a nectarine right here, so beautiful nectarine. What does that appetite suppressor do? One of the things it offers is a rejuvenating ability into the endocrine system. So it's the phytochemical compounds that help rejuvenate the adrenals and the thyroid and the pancreas. It helps to rejuvenate the endocrine system. Very important to know. And it brings back that endocrine system, because that's another thing that burns out in people. People get burnt endocrine systems. They just burn to the ground because of life in so many ways and so many different reasons for it. Stress, emotional pressure, toxic food, toxic environment, exposures, pathogens, metals, and the endocrine system gets affected and it just starts to burn to the ground. That's what happens with so many people, and their endocrine system starts to get in big trouble, weakens all through it. Thyroid, pancreas, and the whole bit. All of it just can get in trouble with people. Pancreas and then their adrenals and so forth. Endocrine system support our peaches and nectarines. Sure, you could go out, you can get a pack of frozen peaches or something like that from the store. You can definitely do that. You can also make yourself, though. peach pie milkshake every single day because I can't wait to make it. I'm covering all the stuff that peaches and nectarines do. They offer a lot. It's very powerful, very empowering for your health. And maybe you don't even like them. Maybe you don't like peaches and nectarines. They offer so much. They not only have all these different nutrients and compounds in them and agents that are actually healing, but they do these specific things that are really powerful that we're talking about right out of LCF. So we're cruising along, you guys, giving you guys lots of information of how this works. There it goes right there. LCF coming out soon. Lock down a pre-order. Do yourself right. Do yourself right and make sure you have this book in your kitchen. Have it on your kitchen counter. It's a reference guide. It's a reference book that can take you like on a life's journey of healing. I'm telling you right now, the information about symptoms, conditions, and diseases, the information about what's out there, giving people problems with their health in all kinds of different ways. This is a book you will not be disappointed with. If you like the original LCF, wait till you get the new edition. You have to have the expanded new edition. Seriously, it is going to do you right. It is. So we're on peaches, we're on nectarines. We're covering the different aspects of it. If you just got on here, you can watch this from the beginning. We talked about how the skin of the peach and nectarine is like sticky tape for a certain type of bug or a certain type of invader or a certain type of fungus or mold or so forth. It is the sticky tape for the bad stuff inside the gut. It's also got an astringent chemical compounds close to the pit, which purges the liver and even the gallbladder, but purges the liver. That's the pit right there in front of me, you see? And that liver gets purged. And when it does, you got a cleaner, healthier liver. Then life starts, getting better. Then you lose weight when you need to lose weight. When you're doing the right things, it happens. You don't need to do the weight loss drugs. The weight loss drug thing has gotten so out of control. I mean, it was out of control to start with, but now it's just utterly insanity. It's insane, and there's a lot of side effects that people are going to get from them. They're not good, including all kinds of wacko weight loss supplements included too. But, keep in mind, it's good to do these things naturally with the right information. Be empowered, become an expert, be your own expert. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. Peaches and nectarines are self-limiting, and they have that self-limiting phytochemical compound as well that becomes an appetite suppressing agent. You bring peaches in your life every single day. You can get frozen peaches. You can make the peach pie milkshake like that. Peach pie, you don't have to have them all fresh, like these fresh ones, but we got the fresh ones and we're lucky. All right, let's make something and we can work on this. Lots to talk about. It's really incredible. I'm gonna take this guy over here, so don't worry. Here we are. All right, I'm gonna move my lemon balm tea over for a second right there. So here we are. All right, so to begin with, let's get into the peaches a little bit. I got these beautiful peaches right here. Okay, so I'm going to slice them up. I'm going to move this aside right here. Give myself some room. Let's do that, okay? Let's do that. I'm going to use those pieces anyway, but we'll give ourselves a little bit of a clear. You can cut your peaches any way you want. A couple of recommendations. Watch out, if you got pets, don't let them eat peach pits because they're not, they're not easy to eat. Don't eat the pits yourself. There's no reason to. So I'm cutting the peach back like this. There you go. All right. And I'm just going to cut them in just little pieces. Okay. There we go. Now I got nectarines too, so I'm going to do maybe even a blend. I might do a little bit of nectarine in here because I have it. That's what's so amazing. Or I'll make one or the other or however. Okay, so I'm going to chop up some peaches right here. And you can squeeze your peach. If like that one right there is a good peach. There we go. That one's a riper peach. You want to use the ripe ones. And, you can do what you want. You can take it right down to the bone. You can do that. That's fine. Okay, moving some of these over. All right, I'm going to take a nectarine. A nice ripe nectarine right here. Might throw one nectarine here because I'm so lucky I actually have the option. How incredible is this to have the option? It's really a beautiful thing, okay? So I got a nectarine right there. Okay, it's a little brown spot. I'm gonna take off that top right there. There we go. We're making some good stuff right here. All right. I got different kinds of peaches. This is a really juicy one. Okay. So I'll show you a couple things, which is interesting. So I'm just cutting this peach right here. And you feel that grippiness. Did you ever do that? You feel the grippiness on here? And keep in mind that frozen peaches have something really interesting, and I'll show you what it is. So if your frozen peaches are peeled, and I'm peeling a peach right here, if your frozen peaches are peeled, there's no skin on your frozen peaches, right? It doesn't matter. There is some of that chemical compound within the skin itself on the backside, okay? So you have to know that. So what you're doing is you're still getting from frozen peaches and nectarines, you're still getting some of that right there. And it's there. So that's automatically there. So with frozen peaches, you're still, and I actually just saw a piece of skin in there. I see it right here. It's very close to the rind. So the phytochemical compound runs deep under the skin. Keep that in mind. So it's not just the furry part of the skin. And you'll look at a nectarine, okay? This juicy, amazing white nectarine right here. Check this out. You're looking at this nectarine, okay? It doesn't have that furry, but still, it's the phytochemical compounds involved in that skin right there, okay? So you can peel it, and right here still, you have the means to cling and take away things in the gut. Very important to know. You still have the means to cling and take away all kinds of different impurities and mucus and all this other stuff that's, trapped in the gut, which is very interesting all on its own. Now, I'm also saying this in case for some reason you're somebody that wants to do the peach pie milkshake and you're like, do I skin my peaches? Do I skin my nectarines? Do I not skin them? Do I keep the skins on them? I'm keeping the skins on them if you're okay. So that's what I'm doing. Look at that. That is really beautiful right there. That's beautiful. Wow, what a camera shot on that too. That looks wonderful. Look at that. I'm just going to take this little piece and pop it in my mouth. That's insane. That was insanely good. It just is. That is so good. I'm gonna use another one of these. These are so good. Look at that. These are nectarines. Here we go. Might have this little piece. So good. Oh, there's the pit. There it is in my hand. Amazing. So there's the nectarine pit right there. You don't want to eat those. There's no reason to. Not a good idea. I know a lot of people, they get adventurous and they're just like, wow, no, you can eat everything on this thing. And check out this tropical fruit. You can eat this and that. And you don't have to. You can have papaya seeds inside the papaya. You don't need to. All right. This is different with peach pits. You don't want to eat those. All right. It's different than like a papaya seed and so forth. All right, so let's get this going in here. All right, I'm going to chop these up a little bit, and 2 cups is really what you need. I'm just gauging it. I'm going to pop in some of this peach right here too. There we go. And you can make a bigger one if you really want. You can double the order. You can double the order. You can do that. Okay. You can definitely double the order. Doing a couple of different things in here because it's beautiful. We have the option. Here it is right here. All right, so next thing I want to do is I want to get the frozen bananas to get ready. Okay, I got fresh bananas out. You're welcome to use a fresh banana, but you want that frosty, cold aspect of it. You want to do that. You could even pop ice into here too to get that frosty action going with the peach pie milkshake, okay? Of course, you can use fresh peaches, fresh bananas, and you can make it kind of like just a cool version, but not frosty, not icy, not cold. But I don't like it that way. Honestly, I like it this way. I'm just in my freezer right now, just taking out some frozen banana right here. So I'm going to pop little pieces of frozen banana right in here. So that's what I have. And what I like is I like having it frosty and cool You know, and I don't mind even putting a little ice in there if I have to. That's a good idea too. 2 frozen bananas is what I'm using. That's what the recipe calls for. You can put a little bit more frozen banana in there if you really want. You can't go wrong. You know, you can make it the way you want to make it. That's okay. So I'm getting there. All right. So I'm going to put a little bit of coconut water in there. A couple cups coconut water, 1.5 cups coconut water. Okay. Pop it a little bit, and you can gauge it. You can put a little bit more as you're doing it. See how thick you want it. See how thin you want it. You know, like that. You can do a little bit more. And I'll hold back just in case, because, you know, you can customize it a little bit the way you want it. All right. Sorry about the noise. All right, here we go. So we got some vanilla powder. We got some cinnamon. I think we'll do some cinnamon first. Okay, ½ teaspoon. That's all you need. Pop that in there. That's all you need for there. Vanilla powder, ½ teaspoon. But boy, I like the vanilla powder. It's so good. I just, you know, I'll put the ½ teaspoon in there. Exactly. But when you get a really pure one, a really good one, it's so great, you know. Okay, so let's do the rest of it. Let's get some maple syrup in here. 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Let's do it. Got some of that. Oh yeah, that is going to be just so good right there. Wow. Honey's optional. Keep that in mind. You can do that. We're making the peach pie milkshake, you guys. And guess what? There's no dairy in here. No dairy, none at all. I'm going to get some ice cubes out. It's optional. I might throw a couple in there if you don't mind. Okay. Yeah. Throw a little bit of ice in there, okay? Not putting a lot, just adding a little bit. Now listen, you can do almond milk if you really wanted to, but that's not the way it should be done. I think it's a bad idea. You want to keep the overt fats out. This is a fat-free, overt fat-free milkshake. It is. It's an overt fat-free milkshake. Keep that in mind. That's what you want. You don't want the fats in here. You don't want to do oat milk. You don't want to do, like, you know, you just try to keep it where we're doing it that way, where we're not adding the overt fats in here. So keep that in mind. Coconut water is the way we're doing it because it's for the most healing option. Of course, you can, you know, for kids and everything, you can do almond milk, you can do oat milk, you can do coconut milk, but for the most healing with chronic illness, you don't have to do those. You can keep the overt fats out. So important tip right there. You can keep those out. Yeah, but of course you could bring them in, still healing, lots of healing properties. Don't get me wrong. We're taking it though to the limit is what we're doing. That's this one. That's this version. Taken to the limit, all right? All right. I think we're going to give this a whirl. And let's put the top on this. I don't think we're there. I think we're there, okay? All right. Let's go. Blending it up. Got a little bit of ice in there. Peaches, a couple nectarine pieces in there. Good old nectarine. Look at that. Coming out nice and smooth. You can put a little cinnamon on top too when you're done. What's happened to this blender? What the heck? It's going on its own. Wow. I mean, it was rolling on its own. Had a life of its own, man. All right. There we go. Okay. Like I said, you can take it to the consistency you want in a milkshake, but this one's definitely going to be frosty cold. Okay. So we have options. I can make another one too. There we go. I don't know if you can see this right here. Now, it's not supposed to be like a sherbet or anything like that. It's a milkshake. This one's going to be frosty and cold. I got the ice in there. I think that was a smart idea. I do. I think it was a good way to go is putting a little ice in there along with the frozen banana. I think that's a great thing. I'm going to just drop a little bit of cinnamon on top, if you guys don't mind. Just a little bit. Trying not to completely cover it right there. And you know what? I might make another one too. But there we go. Look at that. So good. And I'm going to bring it over to the table is what I'm going to do. That's the plan. I'm going to bring it right over to the table. There you go. Oh, that's actually pretty thick and creamy. All right. Let's head over there, you guys, and let's hang out for a little bit. We're going to have a little fun. You guys want to come to the kitchen table here? This little spot? There we go. I'm going to just get the LCF new edition too. You guys don't mind? We're hanging out. It's amazing. Here we are. I'm in a peach and nectarine section. I think it's just a good idea, good part to be in. Okay. Table time. You got it. There it is. That's Life-Changing Foods right there, you guys. It's up on there. Make sure you pre-order it. I mean, wasn't that incredible information about peaches and nectarines? I mean, where can you get that information? It just doesn't exist out there. It's mind-blowing when you think about it. It really is. So I want to show you something too while we're at the table. And this was kind of like really cool. Let me go get a peach. Let me go get a nectarine, okay? There's something really cool I want to show you. All right. I got a peach. Let me get a nectarine. Get one of these. So in the book, it talks about you can spin the peach and spin the nectarine. So you can get people around a table like this. And if you have family, you have friends, you know, and you can get around a table and you can spin the peach. And the thing is like fruit, certain fruits have like a supernatural connection. They got a supernatural, you know, frequency. Got to keep that in mind because these fruit trees and the fruit is far more ancient, you know, and its original form too, far more ancient than anybody actually understands or believes. I mean, apples are really ancient. Fruit is ancient, and it's connected to God in so many ways. And so when I was doing LCF right here and listening to Spirit of Compassion said, and that's what we're talking about right there, the expanded version edition. Spirit of Compassion said that you can spin the peach, and if the peach, the bottom of the peach right here points to somebody at the table, then they need the nutrients from that peach. That means that they actually have more mucus in their intestinal tract, more mucus in their liver, more deficiencies, more nutrient deficiencies. And so you can do the whole spin the peach, which is actually something that's really powerful because the peach will go to somebody or point to somebody that needs it. Isn't that mind-blowing or what? Is that mind-blowing? How powerful is that, isn't it? So you can do that. Now you can do it a couple different ways. You can spin it just like that, okay? So wherever the peach goes, okay, wherever the point goes, but you can go a couple times depending, because it might point up depending on the balance, but right there it's pointing to me. When I spun that, it's pointing to me. So that's how it's doing it right there. So if it's pointing to somebody, there they go. They can use what's in that peach. And you can spin it and do this at the table. And whoever would be sitting there, it's pointing to them right there. See? So there's the bottom of the peach, so it's pointing to somebody over there, which is so great. I need the peaches. I haven't had peaches. Look, pointing to somebody over there. So I'm giving you the examples of what's going to happen when you spin the peach and whoever's sitting here. Now, in this situation, we're all connected right now because this is a live. This isn't a pre-recorded video, so this is a live. And that means that your energy, your frequency, there's a lot of people out there right now or around the table with me right now. So when I spin this, it can go to anyone that, even though you're not at the table technically, but your energy is at the table. So the peach is going to go wherever, you know? And isn't it mind-blowing how it works? So it's in here, it's in the pages right here, this incredible scripture on this information about peaches and nectarines. And this is the kind of stuff that's in Life-Changing Foods. Like you stuff that you can't find anywhere, information. You know how the Medical Medium book series is, and you know how many people it has helped and healed, you know, throughout the years. It's really a beautiful thing. So if you're with a group, family or friends, there's a test for who needs the peach or nectarine the most. That's what it is. You spin the peach or nectarine on a smooth surface. And just like I said before, the first one I did, it pointed upward, which is really cool. And that's what you do. You spin the peach. I hope it goes to me because I want to eat some peaches. Nope, it's going out there. And that's how it works. You do this, and then it's going here. So whoever is at the table in that moment, isn't that mind-blowing? I know, it's mind-blowing. And then there it goes. It's going like here in this direction, but you got to see like who's sitting next to you, and then you got to try to get it the closest to. So in this angle, it's going out here, but when you're sitting there with a group of people, whoever's closest to you, and you find out the direction it's going. So, you know, our energies are kind of all working together right now because this is not a pre-recorded video. This is a live. So you guys are basically, your energies are here in the kitchen with me right here, and we're all connected. And Medical Medium community is very connected, and it's just such a great thing to do. So this is what you do right there. And it's pointing out there, and it's pointing this way. So, of course, you know, this is a really great thing you can do. You love this, Spin the Peach. Trisha over there on Facebook. It's really a great way when spring comes or summer, depending on where you are. Late spring, peaches come in, you know, in different areas. Sometimes it's just somewhere around May and June. Sometimes it's, you know, August, depending on where in the world you are, what kind of growing season you have, how peaches and nectarines work. But it's an exciting game, and it's really a beautiful test. This is so good. Okay, that is just amazing. That tastes so good. So here we are. So I want to talk about symptoms and conditions, if you guys got a second, right? Conditions, let's go into conditions. So addiction is a big one. So people have food addictions, drug addictions, they have vices for anything, vices for caffeine, vices for nicotine, vices for just garbage that's in all the vaping crap, you know, like the vaping stuff. Everybody's vaping, they're vaping cannabis and so forth and everything. It's just everybody's vaping stuff right now. And so we're in a real serious like addiction-based society. We're in a serious addiction-based and PTSD-based society. A lot of people have PTSD. They acquire it just from experiences they have with family and friends and then people they go to school with and everything. So PTSD and bullying and everything else. And then PTSD kind of goes and fits into addiction. They kind of work together. So a lot of people mask their PTSD with an addiction like a vice. A lot of people do this. Maybe you know somebody. Do you guys know somebody? So, you know, that whole bit. So what happens is they get trapped into a vice. They get locked into a vice because they're trying to mask their addiction. And that happens to people all the time. So it's something to even think about. It's terrible how it works, right? And that's what I love about the peaches and the nectarines, because if you can learn to bring those into your life and start consuming those, it starts to break both things. It breaks addiction. It breaks addiction to vices. It breaks down PTSD a little bit. It helps with all of that. So think about what you can do with this. So if you're somebody, get the frozen peaches out. When you get this book in your hands, get it in your kitchen, read it every day, check it out right there. If you don't have it, make sure you pre-order it. There it is. Get this book in your hands, get it in your kitchen, and make the peach pie milkshake every single day. Just get the frozen peaches, you know, freeze your own bananas, and make the peach pie milkshake every single day. That's what you want to do. You can make it super frosty. You can make it like literally like it's icy frosty. You can do that. But you can make it like every day. And you can help battle any kind of addictions. People have the caffeine, matcha tea, green tea, the coffee, the espresso, the energy drinks that got the caffeine addictions they can't break. They're burning out their adrenals and don't even realize it. It's just burning them out, you know. I mean, it's really rough on people. Then you get all kinds of different, you know, pharmaceutical addictions, you know, I was talking about benzos. Remember I was talking about benzos? Benzos have had a massive uptick You know, I was talking to a doctor friend, he was like, no, you don't get it. Like benzos are like, they're taking over in the young generations right now, and teenagers and, you know, early 20s, doctors are all prescribing all of the benzos, you know, Ativan, Klonopin, you know, all of them. It's happening. And so people are getting hooked on those, mainly women, mostly young women are getting hooked on sorry you guys, just fixing this for a second. Most of them are getting hooked on it, the benzos. It's a big deal, so that's what's happening. So when it comes down to addictions and being so bad for so many people, it's the kind of thing where, look, we need to battle this. We need to fight these addictions, and we have an option. How's that right there? We have an option. That's just incredible. And you think that this can't touch it, but it can. And that's what's like insane. You think this can't, like, you know, if you think this kind of thing can't like battle that addiction, now you're wrong. My God, you bring this into your life and you do it every day, and it could battle it and then some. So keep that in mind, okay? So good. Absolutely delicious. Now that's a milkshake. There isn't dairy in there. You don't got that blood in there. You know, like the problem, one of the problems I don't like about dairy, besides the fact that it actually, dairy, you know, cow dairy has blood in it. People don't see it though, right? They screen it out. They screen out all those red blood cells. And so with dairy products, when they're in their raw form, like dairy, meaning like they're processing it in the raw form, there's a lot of blood in it, and people don't realize it. And I think that the whole blood thing in dairy is something that, like, even if, like, I don't eat dairy for a million reasons, pathogens and bugs and stuff, some milk, cheese, butter. I don't touch dairy because of pathogens. I don't mean pathogens in the dairy necessarily. I mean pathogens that, you know, that it feeds. So if I pick up a flu somewhere because I'm around a bunch of people and I'm just pick it up, I don't want to feed it. I want it to die off immediately and disappear. I want to just, you know, I want it to be like it never even affected me. And what happens is if I'm eating dairy, milk, cheese, and butter, you're just going to feed any kind of flu virus. You're going to feed any kind of bug. Cheese just feeds it like nobody's business. It creates a lot of mucus. The mucus gets trapped everywhere in the lymphatic system, and it sits in the intestinal tract for a long time. So if you're somebody eating dairy, that dairy clings to the intestinal tract walls. It stays in the gut for a while. It stays in the bloodstream for a while. Stays in the liver for a while. It's in there, and you know, and there's so many reasons why I don't like dairy. One is the blood aspect in dairy. It's just so gnarly. I mean, I can't imagine, you know, it's just, I wouldn't want to do that, you know, and so this peach pie milkshake, dairy-free, that's a big deal all on its own. If you're an animal protein eater, fine, right? You eat animal proteins. I'm just saying everybody, animal protein people should stay away from dairy. Animal protein people. It's not about, you know, propaganda or anything like that. That's not what it is. It's not just this whole propaganda thing. It's not about like vegan's better, you know, plant-based is better, you know, animal products are better, animal, you know, protein, you know, animal-based is better. I'm just saying if you're somebody that's into animal protein, just, you know, keep the dairy out. Don't put the cheese on the burger, you know, just don't. It's a smart move, You should be dairy-free. And dairy causes a crap load of problems. I get it. There's a whole bunch back to the landers now, homesteaders. I understand the whole thing. I've understood it my whole entire life. I know about it. I know about the whole homesteading thing. I know about the whole raising your animals. I know about all of it. I know about being back to the land. I know all about it. Like, I mean, I could go head-to-head with somebody that's, you know, got a farm and they're back to the land and everything. I go head-to-head on the information anytime, any day. I know it inside and out. Every aspect of making your own butter, to raw dairy and the raising of animals and everything else. And what it takes too, and a lot of people don't realize, man, it takes an army behind the scenes and a lot of influencers that do it, it takes more than just waking up at 5 in the morning and breaking your ass. It's really difficult, and I know it well. And the thing is that I get it. People are into the raw dairy, and they're into like the raw dairy's the way. The raw dairy's the way. It's the way. No, it's not. It's not. If you want to keep chronic illness away, raw dairy's not the way. Is raw dairy better than, pasteurized, cooked dairy? Yeah, it is in some ways. It is in some ways, definitely. Will it still feed the bugs? Heck yeah, it'll feed the bugs. Bugs don't say, oh, you're raw dairy. Bugs don't, pathogens, Epstein-Barr, shingles, HHV6, HPV, HIV, right? Retroviruses. Retroviruses don't say, oh, that's raw dairy. Oh, no problem. That's no worries at all, Hey, no big deal. And the same thing with blood sugar too. Same thing with blood sugar and the fats. It's like your liver doesn't say, oh, hey, no, that's raw dairy fat, That's going to save me. Your liver doesn't say, hey, that's raw dairy fat. Don't worry about that one bit. Your pancreas isn't going to say, oh, that's raw dairy fat, mixed with sugar. Because raw dairy is still sugar and fat. It's still sugar and fat. That's what it is, raw dairy, right? So your pancreas doesn't say, oh, that's raw fat from your dairy there. Your pancreas is like, I won't have to kill myself and throw out 1 billion pancreatic enzymes and shoot out the insulin and produce that hormone. I won't have to do that at all because it's raw dairy. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. So if you're somebody that got any kind of compromises, any kind of autoimmune, shouldn't be eating raw dairy because you shouldn't be eating any dairy. Period. You just shouldn't. Of course, anybody can do what they want and they should listen to their doctor. If your doctor's telling you to do raw dairy, listen to your doctor. Okay? But I'm just saying that, man, they shouldn't if they got a problem. They got chronic illness and autoimmune disease and everything else like that. But right now, I get it. It's people, even goat cheese. I just saw that comment right there. Even goat cheese. Yes, even goat cheese. Definitely, okay? So you guys have to understand that, there was this, weaponized situation going back with classified medical research and science. And I don't want to sound like a broken record. I probably don't even talk about it enough. But what people don't realize is dairy was used as a tool, too, for a feeding mechanism. Not just eggs. I mean, dairy was eventually used as well to, preserve and keep pathogens alive so they can experiment and do things with them and so forth and raise them in labs and then manufacture. So that's something to think about too. I'm going to have a little bit of this milkshake right here. So good. I mean, that's insane. And that's with fresh peaches. How insane is that? Fresh peaches. So good, okay? So let's go into a little bit about some spiritual information. I didn't even hit conditions and symptoms so much, but let me hit those a little bit first real quick, okay? I was talking about addiction, and I went heavy on addiction for a reason because the vaping thing is totally insane right now. I mean, kids are vaping, and they're vaping the cannabis like nobody's business. They're just vaping everything. So we got that right there that's happening. So addiction is like out of control, and it's getting there. It really is. And keep in mind about something with weight loss drugs, injection-style weight loss drugs. That's how your body can become allergic to it. Keep that in mind, because when you're injecting something into yourself, I'm not talking about IV, like intravenous. Your body responds differently if something's intravenous. Keep that in mind. Your body responds differently to that. That's why I tell people no B12 shots. You shouldn't do B12 shots. Your doctor wants you to do them, fine. Listen to your doctor. But I tell friends and family, no B12 shots. Because what can happen is over time, you get too many B12 shots, then your body becomes allergic to the B12 because it was injected through a needle, not intravenous, but it was not through into the vein, but it was injected into your body through a needle. So then your body can create an antibody to it. And the last thing you want to do is your body creating an antibody to B12. You see what I'm getting? You guys see where I'm going here? The last thing you want your body creating an antibody to is weight loss injections. You don't want your body creating antibodies to what is in that mixture, because then you end up getting hives later on. You end up getting things start going wrong everywhere. Stuff starts happening and you start having problems. I mean, it's not something good. And I've talked about this before, but I figure a good reminder is needed, I guess, right? So addiction, I was talking about that. Cancers, peaches are amazing for cancers. Anemia, wow, that's another one right there too. Bladder prolapse, interesting, connective tissue holding your bladder together, so you don't get the prolapsed bladder. Interesting, right? So there's phytochemical compounds in peaches that help to stop a prolapse. And you got to think about, well, how would it help to stop a prolapse? Well, I'll tell you how. Connective tissue weakens. That's why prolapses happen. Connective tissue weakens. It's not just muscles, internal endoskeletal muscles. It's connective tissue, which is really insane. It's good information right there. Chronic ear infections, bulimia. Bulimia, how about that one? Eating disorders, that's a big one right there too. Eating disorders, that is a big one. How many people have healed their eating disorders doing medical medium? It's a beautiful thing that it's happened. A lot of people, they dedicated their energy, their time, they worked with the protocols, and they beat their eating disorders. How cool is that? Like, how cool is that, right? That right there is another level. Fatty liver, viruses, hepatitis A, B, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D, hypertension, peaches and nectarines for hypertension. How cool is that? Intestinal polyps, peaches, nectarines, kidney disease, kidney stones, Lyme disease, mystery infertility. Yeah, that's a big deal. Pneumonia, parasites. You eat in a restaurant, now you're sick, you don't feel well, you're vomiting, you got diarrhea. It's not the stomach flu. And people get the stomach flu from eating in restaurants all the time. But you get like different restaurants, different things and all that, especially animal protein based ones, right? You can end up getting something. But what happens is you're eating off of a food truck or something, whatever people eat off of food trucks. I heard a terrible story of somebody eating off of a food truck. So, the bottom, and food truck, there's some food trucks that are so clean. They're cleaner than any physical brick and mortar restaurant. So it's amazing how things work. Neurological Lyme, a parasite, if you pick up a parasite in bad water, so you've consumed bad water. Peaches and nectarines, the skin of that peach and the skin of that nectarine, or if you do the peach pie right here, the peach pie milkshake, it binds onto that parasite you may have picked up from the bad water. Are you guys having fun, or I just don't stop talking here? All right, too cool, too cool. This is such good information. Prostate problems, sunburn, that's insane. Thyroid disease. Uterine prolapse, another prolapse right there. Interesting. Peaches, nectarines, helping to stop another prolapse. Interesting. Peaches and nectarines help to stop a prolapse because they help to strengthen connective tissue around the uterus and around the bladder. Big deal. That's a very big deal. Big deal. Okay. Symptoms, abdominal distension, Bell's palsy, blood imbalances, blood sugar imbalances, blood toxicity, brain fog, brittle nails, loose stools, clogged arteries, clogged veins. I mean, this is great information right here. Heat sensitivity, peaches, nectarines. So we're in, right there, you guys, Life-Changing Foods, new edition. Pre-order it so that you have it, so that when it's out of stock, which is bound to happen because it just does. It's happened to all the other books, medical medium books. Can't say it enough. Inflamed stomach, lesions on the liver. A lot of people get their CT scans and they get their different scans. And what happens is they end up seeing like something on the liver. like a lesion. And then they're like, well, there's a lesion on the liver. Peaches, nectarines are helpful for that. Very important. Night sweats, persistent hunger, interesting scar tissue in the liver, stomach upset, sweet cravings, it goes on. So let's go into like some emotional support right here. Let's do that. We'll go into some emotional support. This is very thick. So if you don't mind it, it takes a little bit to get it down. It's very thick. So good. All right, emotional support, nectarines and peaches increase spiritual connection in a way that helps with making choices. Do you have a hard time making choices? Okay. It's very possible. A lot of people, they have like choice-making problems even when there's, a lot of choices to be abound and they're good choices. They have a really hard time. Or if there's very few choices, it's hard for people to make choices either way. So let's take a look at some comments right here. Okay. Allie right there. Allie, Health Essentials. No more EDs for me thanks to medical medium. Whoa. Amazing. That's incredible. I mean, getting those eating disorders better, it's amazing. That's what happens to you with the medical medium information. It really does help to heal like drastic eating disorders too. And long before the first book even came out, a long time ago, I mean, I was helping people with severe eating disorders, and the medical medium information, it just turned people's lives around when they were severely bulimic, anorexic. There's, and back then, and even now, it's just protein. If you're somebody that's suffering from anorexia, it's like, protein. They need lots of fat, lots of protein, And meanwhile, that's not necessarily how it works. It's not how it works. It just doesn't work that way. It's crazy. So, Kat says, I had a kidney stone because of my coffee addiction. Gave it up immediately after praying for help with my caffeine addiction. Thank God I'm off the coffee. I've been healing my depression since. Amazing, Kat, over there on YouTube. Amazing. Excuse me. Reiki with Daria says, true, medical medium protocols helped me heal my eating disorder. Wow, I'm so proud of you, seriously. The Wild Blueberry Babe. I never thought I had any addictions, recognized and healed my eating disorder with medical medium information. Oh, that's wonderful. Gladys is saying, I'm fighting alcohol addiction. Wow, I'm proud of you over there on Facebook. Proud of you. You keep at it. You battle that alcohol addiction. You'll get past it. Marja says, we had today meeting with 25 medical medium people. Wow. And so many had wonderful healing stories to tell. Angels were around us in celebration with us. Oh my God, you're going to get me all choked up here. That's beautiful. Marja over there on YouTube. That is just beautiful. Mary says, day 8 of 369. Awesome. Thumbs up on that too, without a doubt. So amazing. Okay. Just surprised. Iona over there. I wish nectarines were in season. Get the frozen. Iona, get the frozen nectarines. Frozen. Yeah, look for frozen nectarines. Frozen peaches for sure. You got to be able to get frozen peaches. You have to be able to get that. This is so good. I can't say it enough. All right. We're in the emotional section right here. Okay, nectarines and peaches increase spiritual connection in a way that helps with making choices. Peaches and nectarines help someone with the understanding to choose specific opportunities that lead to directions in life that are more important because they have deeper meaning than choices that are shinier and flashier and in the end have very little meaning. That's really powerful. And so it's all about opportunities. Peaches really help us with so much. They have a deeper meaning. get, you know, a deeper meaning in life. Check this out here. Spiritual lesson. Let's go into this a little bit, you guys. If a deer has an abundance of food available in the wild and comes across a nectarine or peach tree in someone's backyard or orchard, even though nectarines and peaches will create an appetite suppressant in the deer will still choose the peach and the nectarine, not because of flavor necessarily. Unripe peaches and nectarines have an extremely off-putting flavor. Instead, they will choose these fruits because deer are among the most spiritually connected animals on the planet. They are among the most spiritually connected animals on the planet. They really are. You guys, this is powerful information. So here we are. We just made the peach pie milkshake. I am high on it. I am high on the peach pie milkshake. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon. I got some nectarine in here. I got some peach in here. I have some frozen banana. So good, insanely good. Insanely good, you guys. It really is. And we're having just a great time. So check out the Life Changing Foods, new edition. We talked about a bunch of other stuff, eating disorders for a little bit. I think the eating disorders thing is so hard for people because people don't understand it unless they've really battled it themselves. It's so hard to understand. There's so many reasons why people have eating disorders too. So, you know, emotional injuries, abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. It's not even just that. It could just be everything's going great and an eating disorder comes. You know, toxic heavy metals, that's a big one right there. I always say we got to get the metals out. Somebody's battling an eating disorder. And it's not, it's very difficult, but there is a way, a path forward to heal eating disorders. And there's a way, path forward to get off of benzos. If you're somebody that's getting, you know, really like, you know, attached to benzos, and now you're taking it more often, then you're taking it more often, then you're taking it more often. You know, medical meme information is really helpful for people that their doctor's trying to get them off the benzo. And so take your information to the doctor if your doctor's trying to get you off the benzo, because a lot of doctors, I was talking to a doctor friend, he says, no, there's some doctors, they're trying to get their patients off the benzos. And so they're working on it. There's patients that go see other doctors, you know, other medical doctors, and to try to get off the benzo, they were put on from the other doctor, right? And so they got doctors that are like, here's how you got to do it. Here's how you got to wean off of it. And I noticed that take the medical meme information to your doctor and ask your doctor if there's something there that can be really helpful in helping your doctor help you, you know, come off of a benzo. Unless you're at a doctor and they said, no, you should be on it and you want to be on it, then rightfully so. Absolutely. Of course you do that. But there's a serious like addictive nature in society today. Young people are being thrown on benzos. They're vaping like crazy. You know, cannabis is really out of control. Like I've always talked about it, like in the past, it's really out of control for so many people. It's thrown them into so many different episodes. And a lot of people are suffering with a lot of caffeine addictions and even chocolate addictions. Anyway, check out LCF. Because when you bring this food into your life and you use this as a reference book and you have it in your life, how you can battle these things and strengthen and get strong and overpower these addictions and other problems and chronic illness. You're somebody that's dealing with chronic illness. Absolutely. Right here. Life-changing foods. It's a reference book you can use forever for your family. Pass it down to generation to generation. You can look up stuff every single day. But it's not even just that. You can have it in, you know, on your nightstand during bedtime and read powerful pieces of information that we'll cover as we go along. Powerful pieces of information, and get inspired every time you read it, re-inspired to eat better and take care of yourself and recover yourself and restore yourself and heal. You mean that every time you open the book, you'll get re-inspired. How incredibly powerful is that? Every time. It's this reference book with symptoms and conditions and how you can actually heal your symptoms, conditions with these foods, with these wild foods and herbs and leafy greens and fruits and even vegetables. Different things will pop up every single time you do it. different stuff will pop up every single time. It just will. That's pointing out that way. That is pointing out that way, you guys. Who is out there that needs a nectarine or a peach? Who is out there that needs one, okay? I mean, anybody. And even if it doesn't point to you, you still need one. You still need one. You just do. It's so good for you. So you guys, incredible. I can't wait to see you guys next time. That's what we'll do. We'll reconnect. And let's read some comments. If you guys want to sit here and relax, I'm gonna have a little bit more of this, if you don't mind. And let's read a couple of comments. Here we go. All right. Michelle Ruck. Wow, I had an encounter with a deer when I was hiking in Wisconsin. We looked into each other's eyes for a few minutes. It was amazing. Let me tell you about the encounter I just had with a buck. It looked like it was a 10-point, and it was at Organic Crush, right? It was there, but not at the Organic Crush restaurant. I was on my way to the Organic Crush, dinner, and I was leaving the driveway, and I looked to the left in this beautiful little field, some trees and a beautiful little field right there, and there was this buck, and it was just standing there, and it was like a 10-point, and I was like taken by it. It was just mind-blowing to see. And bucks, that's 10-point. I mean, it was crazy to see that buck. Anyway, it was really beautiful. That was my encounter, and it was on the day I was heading, like literally the night of the dinner, and I was heading out of there. Wow. So you looked in each other's eyes for a few minutes? Yeah. I looked right at this buck. I was in the car, but I looked, and it was looking at me. I couldn't see its eyes. It was a little further away, but it was looking right at me anyway. I don't know if it looked into my eyes. That's amazing. That is really amazing. Okay? Okay, so Angela says, I always loved deer. Now I know why. Wow, that's mind-blowing. It really is. Teresa over there, life-changing food is the book. I give out the most to friends and family who come down with illness and ailments. Whoa, that's powerful. Sophie, wow. That just blew my mind about the deer. Yeah, and it did too when I was reading, everybody's comments about deers now. Everybody's talking about deer, their encounter with the deer. I always thought deer seemed mystical and magical, Summer Valentine said over there. Mystical and magical. They truly are. They truly are mystical and magical. It's a beautiful thing, It really is. You guys, incredible. Incredible information. It's good to see you guys. Michelle, that so blows my mind about the fact that you guys looked into each other's eyes like that. That was blown away. All right, so you guys, I'm making an announcement right now. If you guys just got a second right here, okay? So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to open up a couple of nights, Cafe Gratitude for Medical Medium Light Blast and dinner on November 4th and November 5th. So I'm just letting you know. A little book release and signing party at Cafe Gratitude in LA, in Venice. So Venice, LA. So I'm just letting you guys know. And I'm going to do some books. I'm going to sign books. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign books at that party. So, and I'm going to sign, life-changing foods, books, and so forth. So it's a book release party at Cafe Gratitude, November 4th, November 5th. It's right around the corner. It's a little bit, but from now, but yes, letting you guys know. And I'm going to be releasing information all about it. So you know the information. I'm going to release that information too, so you can sign up, so that you have that information of how to sign up and so forth. So that's coming up. It's going to be limited seats there, but I got good news. I'm going to be at Barnes & Noble November 6th. So the day after Cafe Gratitude, okay, the book signing party, I'm going to be there November 6th, okay? And it's going to be at Barnes & Noble in Glendale. So that's also in Los Angeles, but it's Glendale. It's the Glendale 3-story Barnes & Noble store. So if you can't get a ticket into Cafe Gratitude for the book signing release party, I'm doing a book signing gig at Barnes & Noble Glendale in Los Angeles on November 6th. So I'm definitely going to be there, okay? Definitely going to be, signing books in the whole bit. So I'll be there in person, so letting you know. So maybe if you're somebody that's planning on trying to get a ticket for Cafe Gratitude on November 4th and 5th, stay for Barnes & Noble and just come there too. That would be awesome. That's what I would do. So, and if you're somebody that can't get a ticket for Cafe Gratitude because they're limited, the seats are limited, that's okay. Then we just do November 6th, Barnes & Noble in Glendale, LA. So I'm excited. So they're 3-story big Barnes & Noble there. So it's exciting. It really is. And I'll see you guys there. And yeah, I wonder if I could just get Light to go over that entire Barnes & Nobles. That's what I'm thinking. Barnes & Noble, I wonder if I can get SOC to do Light on top of that entire Barnes & Noble store. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I do. So if we all get together at Barnes & Noble November 6th, I can make it happen. I can make that light blast go over that whole building and hit us as we're doing the book signing. Anyway, thumbs up if you like this video. Thumbs up if you hate this video. Thumbs up, okay? And if you can, hit the subscribe button on Rumble, on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button wherever you can. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. It's free. Come on. Go to medicalmedium.com and get on my newsletter, please. Medical Medium newsletter. Can you see that, you guys? Can you see it? Can you see it? Medical Medium newsletter. Make sure you get on Medical Medium newsletter. I got a little bit of a surprise coming on the next podcast episode that's going to be released. The next Medical Medium podcast episode being released. It's a little bit of a surprise because I'm talking about the book of Revelation. That is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting episode. So make sure you're tuned into the Medical Medium podcast on Spotify, Medical Medium podcast on Apple. Make sure you're tuned in because I'm pretty sure the next episode on the Medical Medium podcast is going to be talking a little bit about the book of Revelation out of the King James Bible. Interesting. Out of the King James Bible. So, yeah, so it's going to be a little bit of a series on some cool stuff. Does that sound cool? Right? Subscribe to the Medical Medium newsletter. Please get on that newsletter so you know what's going on, so you know what's happening. Please tell people to get on that newsletter, especially with the information coming out on November 4th and 5th at Cafe Gratitude for the book release signing. I'm going to be book signing, book release party, light blast at Cafe Gratitude the 4th and the 5th, and then Barnes & Noble on the 6th. I'm hearing Spirit of Compassion say we're going to do a light blast on the entire Barnes & Noble building when we're doing November 6th. God help me. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So anyway, pretty cool. And like I said, where do we sign up? Where do we sign up? Make sure you're on my newsletter so you know what's going on. Please make sure you're on medicalmedium.com. Sign up to the newsletter so you know what's going on. Please, please, please. We're going to be trying to help people get this information so they can get a ticket and the whole bit. We're going to do the best we can. But like I said before, the Medical Medium podcast, look out for this one that's coming up. So the next one coming up, so just keep an eye on, keep an eye on the Medical Medium podcast on Spotify. Just keep an eye out because we're talking about the book of Revelation and we're talking about the book of Revelation from the King James Bible. We're doing a little bit of that. So Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. And love you guys very much, okay? Keep on fighting forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on healing your chronic illness. Have compassion for yourself, okay? Do not forget, you have to have compassion for yourself. Please know that. You're a good person. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not sick because you're a bad person, okay? You know the medical meme information. You know how people get sick, all right? You keep a light heart and you work on your healing process. I love you guys. Everyone is different, but not in the way we normally think everyone is different. Our souls are different. Everyone's soul is different. Your soul is different than another person. Another person's soul is different than yours. No two souls are the same. And even though our physical bodies are different and they look different, as humans, they're meant to function in the same way. Every person on this planet needs to eat food in some way, and that's the same. And when it comes down to our hearts, our heart has to beat. And that's where we're not different. We're just not different. Until something goes wrong and we can't walk anymore, until something goes wrong and we can't talk, or our blood gets clogged, or our heart doesn't beat right. And that's where the differences come in. And that's where we become different. Different internal problems with our physical bodies can create endless differences. Everyone is different,